Welcome to this edition of Power Wheel, a production of the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN. Stay with us as we bring you trending news reports in the power sector. I am Chinwenwa Anyanwu. The management of the Transmission Company of Nigeria has expressed its commitment to the highest professional standards in discharging its mandates, as demonstrated by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, ICAN.
The Managing Director CEO of TCN, Mr. Usman Guru Mohammed, who was the 58th President of ICAN, Alhaji Abdulrazak Adeleke Jayola, during a courtesy visit to the TCN headquarters in Abuja recently, commended the standards set by ICAN in promoting professional excellence as he harped on TCN's strive for transparency. He said,
"We are working very hard to ensure that we don't disappoint Nigerians. And our watchword, just like as accountants are, is transparency. So the only reason why you see us standing is because we are keeping the cardinal principle of ICAN, that is integrity and transparency."
Mohammed, who explained the various achievements at TCN to the ICAN leadership and the visiting team, noted that there has been more frequency stability of electricity grid than it was in the past. He noted that TCN was working on procuring spinning reserve to provide backup for the national grid. He also said TCN was ensuring that a functional supervisory control and data acquisition SCADA is installed to create a virtual and smart electricity grid, while huge financing and investment are being made through the Transmission Rehabilitation and Expansion Program, TREP, to increase transmission capacity.
We need to raise money somewhere, and that's why we approach the multilateral donors. But unfortunately, TCN has no record of a single audit. No organization will give money to a company that has no audit. I want to also tell you, sir, that we successfully delivered 2012 to 2014 audit. We delivered 2015 and we delivered 2016. What is outstanding now is only 2017. Now, after delivering that, sir, I want to tell you that we have so far raised $1.57 billion. These $1.57 billion are all coming from multilateral donors.
Mr. Mohammed said TCN management has raised the confidence of its in-house engineers who are now completing the installation of transmission facilities nationwide to expand the grid.
As at 2 weeks ago, TCN engineers have installed about 30 transformers across the country by themselves. And as we speak with you, sir, TCN engineers are building a substation on a place they call Elashe in Lagos. It's an island, sir. They are the one taking the stone. They are the one taking the road and crossing to that side. We have a plan to stabilize the grid and expand it to 20 megawatt in the next from now to 2021. This one, we must achieve it. We must achieve it. If we don't want Nigeria to disintegrate, if we don't want Nigeria to leave the problem of insecurity, if we want Nigeria to be a sustainable country, we have to provide electricity, because there is a direct relationship between electricity consumption and poverty.
ICAN President Alhaji Jayola said the visit was to identify with the MD, CEO of TCN, Mr. Mohammed. He also stressed the need for accountants to be abreast of developments in information technology as it affects the profession, saying,
"As the 54th president, we have a number of things that we have lined up for the year. Improvement of IT skills of our members is very topmost on my agenda. Many of you are aware of that AG Silicon is a highly IT compliant organization. We are involved in financial IT consulting, and we have impacted a lot on our members when it comes to IT."
Jayola, who thanked TCN for receiving his team, said ICAN was working with the Bank of Industry, BOI, and other development agencies to instill the entrepreneurial spirits among the members.
We are engaging the developmental agencies like Bank of Industries, Midan, and so on and so forth. We're entering into memorandum of agreement so that at the end of my presidential year, I'll be in the position to say so number of my members through the instrumentality of the working arrangement with these departmental agencies that so many of our members have now become entrepreneurs.
The head transmission service provider, TSP, of TCN, Engineer Victor Adewumi, said although Mr. Mohammed is a seasoned accountant, he is well grounded in power sector engineering from his vast experience in the sector.
Before his coming, the accountants, of course, like I said, it's an engineering-based industry, so the accountants themselves believe that they don't have a place here. Maybe the maximum level they can reach is GM, and if they are happy, they are lucky, if one of them can, become the EDF and A, of course, that is a ceiling. But he has changed that scenario. They are able to prove that, yes, even as an accountant, you can become the MD of TCN and perform wonderfully well.
As part of its objectives of promoting wider energy security for Nigeria through adequate transmission system planning, engineers and experts at the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, have converged to brainstorm on anticipated investments that could drive grid expansion projects.
With various presentations at the bi-weekly technical paper presentation session of the transmission service provider, TSP arm of TCN, the engineers brainstorm on anticipated power generation from new power plants and the kind of investment TCN would make to connect to the planned generation companies, GENCOs, to guarantee more bulk power supply to the distribution companies, DISCOs. Delivering the opening remarks, the Assistant General Manager, Monitoring and Evaluation, TCN, Engineer Cornelius Asuzu, urged the participants to come up with innovative ways of expanding the transmission grid, saying,
in this presentation, I would like everybody to pay attention basically to the new power plants are coming up. And then to see the kind of investments we need to make to connect to this, to some of these generating stations. And these are some of the things we need to be focusing on this presentation.
In his presentation, Dr. Tom Inugonum, General Manager, Research Development Department of TCN, said there was need for a study before any new power plant could come into the electricity grid system.
There will be need for us to have a study. Whenever any power plant is going to come into the system, there should be a study. And that study was named evacuation study. And what it means is to see how you can supply your power to evacuate that which you are going to generate into the grid.
In his remarks, a participant, Engineer Jibril, from the Projects Department of TCN, advocated for a one-stop shop for investors in power plants to accelerate developments of a GENCO.
So I think Nigeria needs to look into it and shorten those projects. Just one-stop shop where we can get approval.
Dr. Tom Inugonum, who responded to questions from the participants, said TCN has no problem on evacuating power from new plants because it often does a 3-year study for prospective power generation. He, however, urged other agencies in the power sector to work towards ensuring an accelerated process of giving approval to those new plants.
All we needed, like the first person who asked question, is a waiver from NEC. We have certified that this plant can go with our simulations done. We are convinced that the switch gears are okay. We are convinced that there is gas. So there is nothing holding them from giving them license. There is nothing holding them from negotiating the PPA.
Another participant in his advice said TCN should document the investment criteria for evacuating power to ensure that the investors in GENCOs are properly guided.
Let's take a break for a message. Please stay tuned.
Do not build under transmission power lines for your safety and health. Electricity power lines and substations, either for power transmission or power distribution services, are extremely dangerous when exposed to direct human contact. These power lines and substations transmit electricity that lights up our homes and offices, power our computers, TVs, and refrigerators. On the other hand, the same electricity when exposed is extremely dangerous. It can shock, electrocute, and kill anyone on its way. That is why everyone must adopt safety measures whenever we use or are close to electricity facilities like power lines or substation or transformers. For the safety of the people and animals, governments all over the world have approved way leave or right-of-way of 50 meters for 330 kV power lines and 30 meters for 132 kV power lines, and for 33 kV lines the way leave is 15 meters. People are not expected to be found within this way leave or right-of-way for safety reasons. The lines can suddenly cut and fall to the ground with very disastrous consequences such as fire and electrocution of anybody and destruction of anything, be it vehicle, houses or vegetation on its line. It has also been established that power lines and substation emit electromagnetic fields, EMF, which is dangerous to human health. The World Health Organization, WHO, has warned that people who spend long hours under or close high-tension lines stand the risk of being affected by EMF and be vulnerable to cancer, leukemia in children, miscarriages among pregnant women, and other terrible diseases. It is therefore advisable not to build any structure or operate any business under or near any electricity high-tension lines or substations. TCN wants you to stay alive, stay safe, stay healthy, avoid power lines. This message is from the management of Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN.
You're still watching Power Wheel. With the need to deliver electricity to underserved and unserved places in Nigeria, in line with incremental power policy of the federal government, some renewable experts have adjudged progress in the off-grid electrification process driven by private sector participants.
The experts bear their minds at the recent edition of the monthly edition of the next year Power Dialogue in Abuja, which was moderated by the founder, CEO of Sosai Renewal Technologies, Habiba Ali. She said,
World Bank data in 2016 indicates that 80% of our 186 million people are unconnected to the grid. But the government had proactively shared a vision 30-30-30. And there have been a multitude of activities around off-grid electricity access, and this has been driven by international organizations like United States Africa Development Fund, the United States Africa, the USAID, the Nigerian Energy Support Program of the GIZ, and the IFC, and all on. So, where are we with all these efforts? How much of rural electrification have we gotten? And is it getting us there? Are we going to achieve the 30 gigawatts of energy by 2030 and 30% of it being renewable? So what progress have we made?
A panelist and managing director of Rubitech Power, Mr. Bolade Soremeku, said his firm providing off-grid services with solar, adding that
looking at the activities, I'm sure there are many people here that are in the industry and things are going on in that sector. It's probably the fastest growing sector, not just in power, but even in the Nigerian economy. We find people coming into it every day. We find international companies that are coming into the sector. And along with that, it's also being driven by a lot of innovation and by also financiers coming in and looking for space where they can actually also contribute to development of the sector.
Senior Technical Project Manager at the Rural Electrification Agency, REA, Suleiman Babamanu, said the agency facilitated many off-grid electricity projects and other initiatives that are providing investment opportunities for local firms in the off-grid power business.
We've seen a lot of progress in terms of, we've seen a lot of encouragement from the private sector. A lot of companies are coming in to participate in the space. One of the biggest barriers to entry, which is funding, has been made available now. So big players in the sector are encouraged to come around to, be part of this first tranche of mini grid and solar home systems to be able to provide access to electricity for those people that actually need it.
President of the Renewable Energy Association of Nigeria, REN, Mr. Segun Adaju, advocated the decentralization of electricity to rich communities in the hinterland. He also said private renewable energy firms have provided about 150 megawatts of electricity through various off-grid projects across communities.
Energy also should be energy for development, basically. And the only way we can get this done is also to decentralize the energy solutions, to get it to the farms, to get it to retailers, to displace these generators that people are using. When I hear that 80% of Nigerians don't have access to energy, I want to flip the coin again and say maybe they do have some form of energy because they're being powered by generators. So why don't you simply, and it's also already decentralized. So why don't you just take away this generator and replace with something cleaner, and then they have power.
Our soundbite of the week is next.
I can imagine what else you've done in the rest of the country, but in Edo alone, TCN has successfully executed about 4 key projects, which I am party to. So, Alhaji Malam Usman Go Muhammad, we really thank you and appreciate you. This initiative of TCN has just ignited and just sparked a revolution for us in Edo State and in the country.
Top management of the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, joined the chairman of the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC, Professor James Adeche Momo, to celebrate with him as he was honored in his hometown, Igara Town, in Akoko, Edo State recently.
Earlier before the ceremony, the Managing Director, CEO of TCN, Mr. Usman Gur Mohammed, during the commissioning of a 60 MVA transmission transformer to honor Professor Momo at the 132 by 33 kV Okpela substation in the state, extolled the qualities and sacrifices made by the NEC chairman. He said,
everybody here knows Professor James Adeche Momo, because unlike many of his likes, who we have the many in the world, who are enjoying the comfort of staying in America and other parts of the developed world, Professor Momo has not forgotten us. He has been with us constantly. He has constantly been with us in our effort to make our power sector work. It is the interest that led to the completion of this. It is his interest that led to the completion of this installation, and it is in recognition of his contribution in ensuring completion of this work that we are commissioning this substation and this installation in his honor. I wish to thank all those who came to this event and to honor Professor Momo, whom in addition to being to this commissioning, is being honored by his town. It also shows that in his comfort of enjoyment of America, he has not forgotten his people. And that's why they are honoring him today. So after this commissioning, we are moving to his village where they are going to honor him. That is in Igara.
Mr. Mohammed then led some key management officials of TCN to Igara Town after the 60 MVA transmission transformer was commissioned at the Okpela substation for the memorable celebration as Igara people honored one of their own, Professor Momo.
See that Prof himself is already
The TCN management, along with Professor Momo, at the ceremony inspected an innovative electrical appliances and technology exhibition stand as experts showcased appliances that could improve power supply and battery storage system for unserved areas. The National Chairman of Electrical Engineers and Regional Coordinator, Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers, IEEE, Engineer John Funsho Adebayo, at the ceremony explained the use of the electrical items that were exhibited.
What we have here are items we bought from a solar organization, solar-based organization, and for humanitarian purposes, so that we can help the government and the private sector to feed the unserved locations and underserved. So with this, we have solar-powered devices. Okay, this is a solar panel, and these devices are to be charged and used for unserved locations. So we are looking at electricity is everybody's business. So how do we help off-grid? Is by also bringing out solutions as engineers, and that's our focus, to help the government to bridge the gap, electricity and internet for the next few years, for unserved locations and underserved locations, and that's what we do.
Adebayo also explained some other equipment which he said could augment the services of power transmission for better supply to electricity consumers. He said,
power starts from generation to transmission to distribution and to the users. So these equipments are what augments the content of Transmission Company of Nigeria. So TCN is there, the discos are there, the gencos are there, and the users are there waiting for electricity. They don't care about all this. So this discussion should be, how do people appreciate electricity? How can they make by themselves? And what are the problems and challenges and the way forward? And that's why we're here to honor our own, who has been at the forefront of the electricity market.
President of Igara Development Association, Chief Mike Okana, said the event was to honor the chairman of NEC, Professor James Adeche Momo, whom he said has a grand standing in the community.
He is also a strong member of the association. So it's a honor to him, and we want to thank everybody who's here for this celebration.
Another member of the association, Alhaji Abdusalam Uba Ajayi, described Professor Momo as a genius, saying,
when the federal government have to recruit him from US, some of us we clap our hands, because we know he's going to put so many ideas and expertise in the electrical problem of Nigeria.
Highlights of the ceremony include various indigenous dances and cultural presentations showcasing the rich culture of the Igara people of Edo State.
We're bringing you more reports in the Power Flash segment. Please don't go away. We hope you had an exciting time with us on this edition. Join us on Power Wheel same time next week. Until then, you can watch our episodes via our YouTube channel and as well reach us through these other platforms showing on your screen. I am Chinwenwa Anyao. Bye for now.